User-defined functions, part 2. Okay, so we looked at how user-defined functions are defined, how they are called, and how they are declared. In order, we declare, we call, and then we define. If we look at this code that you see here on the right, what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste it into Visual Studio. We always want to act like the compiler so we know what the program does. Here we're going to identify the declaration, the call, and the definition. Okay, so a good way to do that is to first look for your int main void. That's your main program. This is where, like we've always learned through the semester, this is where the program starts. Okay, here is the new stuff. This is our declaration. We have the return type. We have the name of our user-defined function, and then we have arguments are passed into this parameter. So within the user-defined function, what we're going to look for is the name of our UDF. Here's the name of our UDF. So this is the call of the user-defined function. Okay, besides the declaration, we're letting the compiler know that we're building our own user-defined function and we're going to call it. We declare, we call, and then we define. Here is where we're defining what our user-defined function is going to be. So this is our definition. Okay, so if we act like the compiler, we get some memory for M, we get memory for sum, store it with 0, we get memory for loop again, we load it with Y. As long as loop again compares to small or capital Y, we enter our while loop. We print, we're trying to find the sum of 2r minus 1 from 1 to n, enter n. Okay, so let's say the user puts in an n of 3 just for ease of our program. We are going to calculate the sum as n goes from 0 to 3 of 2n minus 1. Okay, so the user puts in the 3, then the function that we define gets called. So this is our argument. Our argument, which is now 3, because that's what we just put in for n. 3 gets sent into our user function. This is the parameter. We told the compiler that we're going to return an integer when we're done. What integer gets returned? We're going to return total. That's our integer return. Okay, so we call our user-defined function. We send in 3. 3 comes in as capital N, and then we do our for loop, and we calculate and total the sum as n goes from 1 to 3 of 2n minus 1. Let's make that up here a 1. Okay, so if n is equal to 1, we have 2 times 1 minus 1. That's going to give us 1. If n is equal to 2, we have 2 times 2, which is 4 minus 1. That gives us a 3. If n is 3, then we have 2 times 3 minus 1. 6 minus 1 would give us 5, plus 3 plus 1. That's going to give us a 9. So 9 is what's in total. That integer 9 then gets sent back to the point that we called our function. 9 gets stored into sum. Sum gets printed. Would we like to loop again? Yes or no? And then our program is done. Okay, so we identified the declaration, the call, and the definition. Let's see how this works. Okay, so we're going to start without debugging. Okay, it's asking for us to enter n, so we'll go ahead and enter 3. And just like we thought, it returns a 9. Do I want to repeat again? Let's say yes. We'll put in 10. So what this is going to calculate is the sum as n goes from 1 to 10 of 2r minus 1. That's going to be 100. Maybe we'll not repeat, and we're good.